All right, Nathaniel, so I got to put up the pretty overlays I have. If you wouldn't mind just starting this off for me while I do that.
Sure thing, guys. Welcome to Belshire Vestige for the first game of our Root versus Quantic best of 9, spawning in the bottom right position as the pink Protoss. The prophecy coming true. He's preferring these types of colors. From Quantic Gaming, it is Venus.
And his opponent in the upper left, representing Root Gaming, Root for Root, it is State. And I gotta tell you, this isn't biased towards the team, and I'm sure you have your own opinion, but Root's got the funnest thing. There's no other team that has like Root for Root, like a motto, a phrase, you know? Like it's Quantic Gaming, it's StarCraft Ascension, it's complex. Like Root has got something that's fun attached to it, and for me personally, I enjoy it that much more because of it.
Yeah, it's it's almost as attached to the brand as something like the EG curse, but
But better.
But better. Obviously, I show no bias, nor would I have any reason to be biased for the Root guys. But,
No, none whatsoever. We're casters. Casters are never biased. Where are the Terrans in this series? God
never
damn.
ever. That's true though. There are no Terrans. So, as far as this matchup goes, I always look at PvP as the one matchup in the game where any build pretty much works on any map. And it's also because any build that's not as good on a certain map is good because it's less likely to be seen, so players aren't used to it.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, though, I haven't really casted Venus playing. I think he's one of the B-teamers, I would assume, for Quantic. And they've done a pretty good job of keeping a healthy B-teamer roster and getting them in on matches such as this, where the it's not quite the finals of the tournament, but
It's curious to bring that up too.
He's scary.
Well, it's curious to bring that up because I know, for example, like Quantic Masson is not on the roster for today, and he is one of the A-teamers and a really good Zerg player. But I guess already saying, look, we've already got a very Zerg-filled roster. Let's mix it up and get a Protoss in here, even if he's not the top-notch player that everyone expects. But I say that I phrase that poorly because it makes it sound like he's a bad player. I don't know. We'll have to see how he plays out today. Now, for those who don't know about the format for this, basically, if State wins, he continues to go fight on the next player of Quantic, and vice versa. If Venus wins, then Root has to send up a new player. It's a best of 9, so you're going to see a lot of StarCraft action here tonight. 5 games, no matter what.
Yeah, and I really like the blind picky idea of it, which always makes things interesting. You don't know quite. He didn't really know. I think the player pools, at least which players would be participating, were announced prior, so you could have a general idea.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the reasons we've been saying that you're not going to see any Terrans, and neither of these teams really have any Terrans at all, actually.
You know, Nathan, I just want to bring this up. I made a joke of it last time, but like I said, Protoss versus any matchup, Stargates early on seem to be the cool thing to do, what the cool kids are doing. But yeah. I want to point out, there's actually, and I bring reference to this, I know I reference other players, and sometimes you guys might not connect the dots, but because he's on Root, Puck fought against Stardust not too long ago, and Stardust, I think, in every single game with his best of 5 opened with Stargate, and Puck with Blink Stalkers crushed it almost every single time. So I'm personally not a fan of the Stargate. My biggest thrill in a PvP is honestly seeing Blink Stalkers and the control over them. Because I kind of feel that that's the one opening, maybe not the end game, but it's the opening that works variably well against anything.
Yeah, I have to agree there. Interestingly enough, State's just going pure gateway though. We're not going to see anything like Blink. He's chrono boosting very hard on that warp gate, and as I say that, he actually cancels one of his gateways and expands. That's kind of weird. I don't think he saw anything. I don't think anything just changed. I guess State was like, you know what? I don't think I want to try to all-in him off 3 gateways, which is somewhat funny because it's a build that we see a lot of, a lot more. I think at least I've seen it from Grubby more. And he's a pretty decent player. You guys may
I think it's
have heard
safe
of him.
to say he's decent the same way Polt is okay.
Yeah, he's an okay. Grubby's an okay guy to copy builds from.
Well, actually, there's one thing I really want to touch on for this. If, like, let's say State goes for like a ton of Immortals right now, one really key thing to keep in mind is these Phoenixes. No, they won't outright kill an Immortal very quick. Well, actually, that's debatable whether they will, but they can crowd control the Immortals. A lot of people forget, like, Immortals are not massive units. You can Graviton beam them. And if you're fighting even Stalkers versus an opponent who also has the same Stalkers but has Immortals, and you just lift up the Immortals, take them out of the equation entirely, you're going to be really far ahead.
Yeah, that's a really good point, especially the Sentry.
Well, talk about Sentries. He's going to lose 1, 2, and maybe 3? Oh, man.
Oh, that's a huge pickup for Venus. So important. Without those force fields, your defensive capabilities are, well, pretty much neutered. And that makes life pretty hard, especially since the Phoenix also gives a bit of scouting information. He knows about the expansion, and he's still on one base. He's got 3 gateways. We do see that Immortal coming out. Yeah, this is a very nice play.
The greatest side effect to this is State is not going to be moving out in the field. He's going to stay at home because he has to. The threat of those Phoenixes coming in, like 4 full energy Phoenixes can kill easily like 12, 13 plus probes. So basically clear out your entire main base if you've got nothing there to deter them.
Yeah, that was... It's just nice. I didn't honestly expect this. Venus is already showing
he's going to get the mothership core.
So it's pretty close.
Dances. That one Phoenix has like almost no health on it now. 60 health remaining.
Not quite there. The other side effect, though, is that he's taxing State's APM. He's taxing State's control. There's the mothership core dead.
That's big.
And that is a huge defensive tool. I'm just honestly waiting for the Immortal push to come. He started the second Immortal. We have another Phoenix being produced, but you know, the real question here is, when does Venus decide to push? I don't know if expanding right now is the right call, because there's still a good number of probes at both bases for State.
Nathaniel, did you ever play World of Warcraft?
I've avoided that as much as I possibly can.
Well, I was going to make a sick reference, but I shall not, for the sake of you, the one man who has stayed sane and safe from that wretched game. 5 years of my life, don't regret a minute of it, but I do acknowledge that it was a huge time sink. But okay, Phoenixes, the big thing about them, there's so much crowd control potential here. Look at this, even killing stalkers here in the main. When Venus pushes, how many Phoenixes are currently on the field? It's a total of 6. That is potentially 6 less stalkers, 3 less immortals, and 3 less stalkers. I mean, he can take out half of his opponent's army just outright.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not even that they kill them. You're right. It's that once they pick them up, the unit can't do anything. So it's completely been removed from the game at that point until the Phoenix dies. And there's nothing that does bonus damage versus light for Protoss. Like it all almost. The Oracle can't attack up, so these Phoenix are very difficult to kill. And now we're seeing this big push come. This is what we've been waiting for. Yep. And State, he's going double Forge with the Twilight Council. I'm not sure if he's fully prepared for this attack.
I don't think, though, the worst part about this is he's got the probe at the Watchtower. Like, he sees this coming, but he's still going for... Oh, did he cancel one of the Forges, or did it complete?
No, the one on the right side's complete. He still has another one building in his main base. But here comes this big push. He's actually completely evacuated his main. He's
Photon
overcharge. He's just forwarding it. No Photon overcharge.
Losing that mothership core earlier. No time warps, no overcharge. Now, the one thing he's got going for him is he can force field off the ramp. There's nothing on the side of Venus that can break the force fields for the time being. But those Phoenixes are still an ever-present threat. And there's a lot of them on the field right now. In fact, 9.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, this might even eventually reach a situation where he could try to force the ramp. State does finish his own observer, so he picks off Venus's observer. But I feel like this army setup for Venus is so powerful. Yeah, he just recalls back home. He's just going to expand. He's taking his lead, and he's doing whatever. And honestly, with what State wants to do, it might not be a bad idea. There's a dark shrine being built in the bottom left of the map.
This is really cool out of State. I like his move to do this. Now, of course, let's not forget, while there's not currently any... Actually, I don't believe there's any observers at home. No, Venus does not have anything at home to detect. He can always crank out an Oracle if necessary. He's got the Robo as well, so I mean, the observer can come out pretty quick. But some Dark Templars hitting before you have any of that detection prepared can be huge.
Yeah. I mean, he has a Robo, so it's not like there's no possibility of detection.
It's still the build time, though, man, and that can be the difference of 5 or 6 probes.
Yeah, it is pretty huge. He's getting ready to move out. He wants to my assumption is what he does, Venus pushes out, cancels the natural, or kills it off, does whatever, and then recalls home again.
Nathaniel, there's actually enough Phoenixes to lift up every stalker on the field of State.
Yeah, that makes life hard.
It's going to make life hard and then some, because the Immortals are just... I don't even. Like, this is going to be rough.
If he recalls to his main base, like right now after he kills off this Forge, I think he can defend it. He has an observer with him, doesn't he?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't think there's an observer with the army of Venus right now.
Because
it got sniped off. You pointed that out earlier. It got sniped.
Yeah. He never replaced it. He has one that's on the way, but there are currently no observers on the field. This one's headed towards the natural, but there's no units here. The Dark Shrine's complete. We're just waiting for some DTs to get warped in. He sees this pylon, and I think... oh, wow. Venus, did you see they killed that pylon in the bottom left before the DTs could warp in, so he has to restart the warping process. This is still tough, though, because he only has a single sentry at the natural to defend against these 3 Dark Templar.
Big question is, though, did he see it? He's got the Observer up at home, but did he see that the Dark Templar were warping in when he killed that pylon? Because I'm sure a lot of his focus... Oh, okay, there's the big recall.
Yeah, now he should be able to defend the main base. Where is the Observer?
Oh, he sends
it
off a
does actually
sentry
make it over. Yeah, it has to make it back into the main base before he can kill them off. So now he's killed the DTs, but the natural expansion is still done. How many kills does these Dark Templar have, though? How many workers have died? It's 10 versus 11 total. But the worker count for State, 41 to 29.
Yeah. He's been continuing to produce probes off of one base. The saturation in the main, 33 out of 24. Just a little bit much.
Yeah, I like it, though. But the cool thing is Venus has found the Dark Shrine, so he can eliminate that tech path at least. And, you know, Dark Templar harass or even just getting Archons can be so powerful in the mid-late game stages that killing this off is very nice. So Venus, I still feel is okay, but, you know, the thing is...
man. 13.
Yeah, the Phoenix. There's a lot of probes. There were a lot of probes for State. He had a nice lead, but Venus is starting to get ahead because he has the double probe production available. He didn't lose his Nexus. Sure, State will be able to take his expansion, but by the time he has it, the worker count's going to basically have evened up. And you said it yourself, these Phoenix are prowling all over the map. There's so much supply invested in them. What is this, 26 supply of Phoenix?
Well, here comes that probe transfer. Finally moving them out of the main. Never seen so many probes transferred. 25 out of 24 immediately. This is the biggest saturation of a natural I've seen in quite some time. But I don't think it's going to last too long. Venus now marching across the field with his ground troops. And again, if he needs to, he can recall. Did State ever rebuild a mothership core? Okay, he did. He's got Photon Overcharge on his side this time. It's not a lot of damage, but it's a necessary addition. Oh, and here we go. Every stalker getting lifted up.
He prophesized this earlier. He had enough to pick up all the stalkers before. Hell, he might be able to do that now. And he is just grabbing everything. Look at that supply advantage for Venus.
Actually, one sentry and an Archon on the ground, and that's it. Everything else is in the air. A couple Zealots coming from behind, but there's the force fields. The Immortal's just shelling away from behind, and hasn't even lost any of these Phoenixes. 15 on the field still.
Raise your stalkers, man. That is enough. GG. And Venus, I feel surprisingly taking the first game here in this best of 9.
Oh my goodness. All right, well, that's going to give Quantic a nice leg up, but the downside is, for Roots, they may have been hoping Hyun was going to get sent out first. Some really strong player would get sent out first, and they'd scout him out, but Venus being this, I think, player that they were unprepared for, really, it's PvP, first off, so I don't want to make it seem like State's bad, but I think it caught him off guard.
Yeah, PvP is one of those matchups that can be a little bit, a little bit weird, a little bit coin flippy.
just a little.
You know what, though? I do wonder what would have happened if State had not canceled that gateway. If he just played the one base versus the one base, would he have been able to break him with a good stalker count before the Phoenix count got so high? And I guess we'll never know. But